Have you ever noticed that we tend to wait until we feel sure before we start trying to change something? We tell ourselves, once I know that this will work, then I'll eat better. That's why we watch other people's stories. Like that's why people watch me, right? They're watching to see how well I do. Once I feel motivated, then I'll exercise. You ever told yourself that? Once I know that I can stay consistent, there's nothing on the calendar or whatever, then I'll commit. But life doesn't really work that way. Most of the time, certainty doesn't show up first. Most of the time, you're just standing in the middle of your day, unsure of which, wondering if this time it's going to be different, right? And that uncertainty really makes people freeze. Not because they don't want to change, we want to change, but because they think that they need to know how everything is going to turn out before they take the first step. They think, and tell me if you think this way, they think that confidence comes from knowing. But confidence doesn't come from knowing, it comes from showing up anyway. Now, be sure and stick around to the end of this video because it is day 29 of my Elevate Life journey, and I'm going to share what's happening. I have an affirmation for you for today, of course, and also a good tip that really has helped me move forward even when I wasn't completely sure. Okay, I think this one will really help you. Rhonda Dillard here, and I am building my mind, rebuilding my mind, and transforming my health with simple habits and cutting edge wellness tools. And I'm so glad you're here. Um, One of the most freeing things I think that I'm learning on this journey is that my job is not to know how everything turns out. My job is simply to bring the best of who I am to the moment right in front of me, right now. When I don't know what to do, I don't need a perfect answer. I have to realize that. I just need to pause and breathe and make the next right choice. Because uncertainty isn't normal. I mean, is normal. It's very normal. Um, you don't know if the weight will come off. You don't know if the habits will stick. You don't know if you'll stay consistent this time. But none of that has to stop you from moving forward. You don't need to be right all the time. You just make the next right choice. Okay? That takes the pressure off everything for you. Instead of trying to overhaul your whole life, I mean, I'm so guilty of that. You focus on one decision instead of worrying about the future. You deal with the moment. Instead of freezing, you move. And that is something interesting that happens whenever you do that. You start really trusting yourself again the more that you do this. You realize that you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel motivated. You don't have to feel certain. And this, trust me, this is not in the opposite of visualization at all. And I will try to explain that as well. You just need to keep choosing forward. That's where confidence actually grows. It doesn't grow from perfect planning, it grows from action, it grows from showing up. It grows from the small decisions that stack up over time. And you know what else shows up? More motivation. If you didn't make the best choice earlier today, that's okay. You're not starting over. You're continuing. You're continuing from where you are. You didn't fall back down. You just stopped. So continue from where you were. You just make the next right choice. That's how momentum and motivation builds quietly and consistently. Now, let me explain a little bit about um, how manifesting works if you aren't familiar with it. Okay? Manifesting you is anything that you can think about. It's what you want. You can you can think about anything that you want. And that thing, you put it in the forefront of your mind, you put it in your visualization, your meditation, and it starts coming to fruition for you. Let me give you an example. I was watching my husband and Joseph playing on the floor one day. And I was thinking, how can I get them up off the floor? And my husband is 68 years old. And it's, that's not the most comfortable position for him to be on the floor. So I thought about what could I do to get them up off the floor and playing. So we have two big couches, and I was thinking, what can I put instead of that couch? And I had seen those convertible couches with the tables on them and stuff like that, but couldn't find one that I liked. So I ended up looking for a table. Now, Mike was completely against this table. Don't ask me why. New something new maybe in the living room, or I don't know how it was. And I mean, we didn't argue about it really, but I just kind of told him what my idea was and let him sit with it for a little bit. And one day we were out shopping, and we went to American Warehouse and found a little table. And that thing has been the best thing that we did, because they play all the time sitting at that table now, and it's so much more comfortable for them. So, literally, I manifested this table. Okay. Now, another example for me is I thought that I might run out of material for this for all my lives here. I mean, I'm already on day 29, and I want to be sure and get y'all something special to help you each day, if I can. Not just some thing I'm droning on about, right? So before I started this journey, I started with those three habits. And I went through this with this table as well. Those three habits really are the forefront of any manifestation. Okay, so um, I did this, like I said, I did the same thing with the table. And here's this, I'm going to go ahead and bring my tip in with it, because my tip goes with this as well. So I've told you in the mornings what I do, how I do my manifestation, because the three habits are um, gratitude, meditation, and visualization, right? You know those from all my material that I do. Those are the three habits of the most successful people in the world. They do them every single day, just like I do. So you figure out how exactly you can do this. But my tip is habit stacking. And if you can create one habit and then be comfortable with it, and create another habit and be comfortable with it, and create another habit and do them all together, that's habit stacking. And that is a great way to start to really get a habit enforced in your life, right? So I do my deepest breathing. Then I go into my mantra meditation and calm my mind. And then I go straight into a little gratitude. And then I bring in what the things that I want to manifest, right? My visualization. So if you can do that every day, let me tell you what happens. You think the thought, then you meditate on it, okay? You think about it, you visualize it, you think about how you want it to turn out, everything like that. And your brain starts building a path to get whatever you're thinking about without you really doing anything, okay? You just have to pay attention. So your brain starts building this path. And then it's the weirdest thing, because everything really starts happening. This is what I call the magic of manifestation, right? Whenever you start doing the things on this path, then things start coming to you. Um, for example, like I said, I started with these 3 habits because I wanted to make sure I had enough material every day to keep y'all entertained, right? And actually have y'all to be able to learn something. So I mean, the magic is really kicking in now because every time that I listen to a podcast or I watch a video or read anything, it is, even if it's something I read before, it is like it's always something that I need. I mean, yesterday I got 5 great videos outlined. I mean, just like that. And this one is actually the first from one video that I heard Brendan Burchard on YouTube. So it's you've got to get to that point where you get through the meditation and the visualization and you start thinking about what those things are that are in your brain on that path to get you there. And they'll come to you, I promise. Start doing those things, and that's when that magic starts happening. Let me know how you do with that because I'm always so excited to hear anybody that I teach come and tell me how neat it was to really manifest the things that they wanted. Now, I always promise an affirmation every day, and today's is I show up even when I'm unsure, and my confidence is growing and growing. I have to do that with my lives every day. You know, I have to ask God to speak through me to so that you can understand exactly how I want to help you. And uh, repetition is key, of course, with these affirmations. So say it, read it, write it over and over again. I show up even when I'm unsure for anything. For anything. You have a meeting or you have to meet somebody or you have to do anything, okay? You don't want to cook dinner, but you show up even though you're unsure if it's going to be a great meal or not, right? Um, because and say it when you say it over and over again like that, it really helps you because when you repeat, what you repeat becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar starts to guide your decisions. Here's something else that um, when uncertainty shows up, instead of trying to control everything, get that meditation in there and calm your mind a little bit, even if it's just sitting for a minute. Just breathe normally and say your mantra. It's so easy. And when your mind is calm, you don't panic about the future. You don't outthink, overthink the outcome, right? You simply choose the next right step. And that's why the daily manifesting routine is so powerful. Meditation, visualization, and affirmations. I mean, gratitude affirmations are in there, of course, in the routine. They all help quiet that noise so that you can move forward even when you really don't feel sure. Okay? You are so very capable that you don't even know. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need perfect motivation. I will give you whatever I can and come back and grab as much as you can. But you don't need that. You don't need certainty. If it helps, okay. You just need to keep showing up and make the next right choice. I do say schedule the hard things and make the next right choice. And every time that you do that, you build your confidence just a little more. You're building momentum. You're building the life that you really want. And if you're ready to take that first step, go grab my manifesting guide because it's completely complimentary. And those 3 daily habits connect everything that we're talking about and help you really start building consistency. Thank y'all so much for coming today. It is so important to have you here on this journey with me. I'm going to do some Q&A on TikTok with this live. It's Just go back and watch some of my earlier versions if you aren't on live of my earlier videos so that you can see the progress that we're making. Remember, schedule the hard stuff and make the next right choice. You have one life. Make it the one you were meant to live, the one you've always wanted to live. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.